And you made that point yourself on Saturday, going, these people aren't journalists.
No, exactly. I mean, this is the thing I always say about people who need the media to report things, and people say, "Oh, is it going to be in the press?" and that kind of thing. And to me, it's like expecting the opposition striker to score goals for you. It's just not going to happen. You just got to deal with it. Sorry, the thing I was just going to say there, by the way, is Paul Lee was tweeting us about there was an actual scarf that's been done for charity. A Celtic fan scarf, and it's got I just can't get enough in it, Celtic badge, and then it's got some Dutch writing which says Sterker Dorstrid, I hope I'm pronounced that well, and it's all for charity, and it's limited edition, and people can order them on PayPal and get in touch with them on feigenorders4charity@gmail.com, and I'll just spell that. It's FEIGENOORDERS, the number 4 charity@gmail.com. They're £10 or €13, and that's also the PayPal address, and folk can order them now, limited edition, and all funds to charity.
And if you want to see the scarf, there's a lovely auburn-haired girl wearing it in the picture.
Yeah, and I'll retweet it right now for people. It's on the Celtic Network website, and I'll retweet it right now, that people can have a look, and just have a look at my Twitter, and they'll see if they can buy it, and they can actually see the scarf and see the lovely lady that Joe just mentioned.
I'll stick it in the HomeBhoys Twitter right now. There you go, it's retweeted. And yeah, so anybody else want to bring anything else up? I mean, we're 5-9, so we still got a ways to go.
I think you were going to talk about Ronnie Dyler getting the
Manager of the Month. You know what's impressive about Ronnie Dyler is, right? Like, his persona hasn't changed from the minute he walked through the door, right? Mm-hmm. At not one point have I thought this guy's in over his head. Obviously, we've said some shit to that effect on this show.
No, I know, because you're just saying the exact opposite, because we did all think that.
I know, but I'm saying, but his personal affectations, the way he presents himself is just like I don't want to say he's monotone, but he doesn't seem to. Obviously, listen, Jason and Paul have met him personally, so obviously maybe it's a different experience. But he's a captivating person without having to be over the top. You know what I mean? Without having to be, in your face about it. He clearly is a very driven and focused person. And see, for this to happen, for him to get it must be great for him. But he's not the kind of person to go out there and blows on trumpet. I mean.
No, he's clearly got a clear belief in what he wants to do, you know what I mean? And you're right, it's like some people, you've got to kind of hold your nerve at times and that kind of thing, because there'll be detractors and there'll be times where you probably doubt yourself and whatever. But he's clearly got a clear philosophy about what he wants to do, and now, which, as football fans are generally all impatient, you know what I mean? We just want success and we want it now. But now, as we see Celtic getting into November, December, it is starting to click into gear, and it was good to see him getting some recognition for that. You know what I mean? Because I always think in this country, we're a wee bit insular when it comes to foreign players and managers and stuff like that. We're very. I mean, you just need to look at some of the stuff that Mark Watt was saying about the way managers were talking to him and treating him and stuff like that. And so, who do you think you are coming here telling us? And I saw Ronnie Dyler getting a bit of that when he talked about things like diet and nutrition and, things like that. And what happens in this country is people start sniping at that, which is just defies belief as far as I'm concerned. He said quite clearly, we're a massive football club in a small country and we can't buy the best players. But what we can certainly have is the best medical facilities, the best diet, the best all that. And what's wrong with that? I mean, that's as fans, we want all that, yet journalists will snipe away at him. And he just seems to take everything in his stride. You know what I mean? He doesn't seem to be fazed by anything. I've never heard him once mention a referee. I've never heard him complain much about anything. He's just absolutely obsessed with the players and the performance and making them better. And thankfully, that's now happening.
Yeah, and he's introduced as well the huddle in the second half. So he's got the players that do the huddle now when they come out in the second half.
Yeah.
That must have been Dial that's done that. And I noticed as well, see at the start of the games, all the players cuddle each other. He's got them all going around and giving each other cuddles and that before they get into the huddle. So he's got this right togetherness, and he loves after the game now going to the crowd and getting the place whipped up. And he's installing some things that I like. He's installing a lot of togetherness between the players, the fans, and I'm warming to the guy more and more each week.
So I was just dead earlier. I was just reading something. I mean, like I say, we all said earlier in the season, like, we'd love to be proved wrong, and that's exactly what's happening. We're being proved wrong. I mean, and Ronnie Deila seems to be. He seems. I wouldn't say quietly confident because he doesn't seem like a quiet person. He just seems like he's just. I think he's got this internal sort of aggression that you don't see on his face. You know what I mean? But he's got a way of either motivating players or putting them on a path or putting them in a direction that's going to suit them. I mean, I suppose obviously man management is a big thing about managing football teams, and there doesn't seem to be any discourse within the team. Doesn't be any infighting. Nobody's like, there's no stories going, this guy's not happy, that guy's not happy. But you know yourself, the Scottish media would fucking jump on. I mean, like it was cake. So whatever this guy's doing, right, he's doing it to a very high degree. I mean,
yeah, and also what I noticed as well was Sutton had a go at him for going to the fans after Aberdeen, and McAvenny had a go at him the day for going to the fans against Motherwell. I mean, that to me is just pathetic. You know what I mean? It's like, as fans, we all want to see passion. You know what I mean? We want that. We want to encourage it. And you've got these fucking half-wits getting paid by the Hun media to say, oh, by the way, that's embarrassing. It's like, oh, because they never ever done that. You know what I mean? They always played and everything was great that they done. I mean, I love it. I mean, I see, you see every time we've seen it come. It was brilliant at Tynecastle. He saw it for Park. Brilliant at Pittodrie. Fucking more power to him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Can I see while you bring that up as well? Can I just nail my colours to the mast now? And Chris Sutton is a fucking wanker. There you go.
Is this because of his article stating that?
The guy's just an arsehole. I loved him when he played with Celtic, but I've got absolutely no time for the guy whatsoever any longer, and I wish he would just fuck off back down to Norwich and give us peace. Because at the end of the day, I want to go on and talk about what Barry Hearn was saying about Scottish football as well.
But just on the Chris Sutton thing, for what I don't want to defend Chris Sutton, right? Because I read parts of what was said. But then again, he doesn't write that shit. But then again, he gets paid to sensationalise Scottish football.
He does is talk it down.
I know, but then again, that seems to be what works for Scottish football. That seems to be what attracts attention. Scottish football is the fucking ugly duckling of British football.
I know. Keep as long as people keep saying it, it'll remain to be so.
Listen, I'm totally behind you.
We need a bit of positivity, and especially our ex-players who love nothing more than putting the boot into Celtic.
I'm totally behind you. What I'm saying is, I don't think guys like Chris Sutton should be taken seriously at all.
No, but he's annoying me.
You're starting to sound like Harper.
Aye, and I just had to get that point across there. These ex-players, they mean nothing to me now. They earned absolute millions of pounds playing for us. Done a job for us, thank you very much. I now want nothing to do with you because you know nothing about Celtic.
Do you remember that time John Harston said he thought Chris Boyd was a better striker than Henry Larson? That was the end of that. That was the end of tabloid columns for me. I was like, this guy's out of his fucking mind.
Joe, there's a fucking industry in Scotland in kicking the boot into Celtic. You know what I mean? And people like Sutton and fucking Hartson have just fallen for that, because for whatever reason they couldn't manage the millions of pounds that they had in their bank accounts. And, so that it's basically, right, John, put your name to this, we'll say that. Because they're literally getting a phone call from a journalist and they're saying, what do you think of this, what do you think of that? And then the journalist will be saying, oh, Christ, this is not good enough. And then, this, by the way, Chris Sutton's a guy, when he done his book, had to actually be told that this is too boring and had to fucking throw in a few things. And so it's basically, what if we said this, what if we said that? And it's basically like, great, check please, boom. And it's always sticking the boot to Celtic. Meanwhile, on the flip side, you've got fuckers like Hateley and fucking Ali McCoist. Ali McCoist Hateley and Derek Johnson. Ali McCoist could commit fucking genocide and still back him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's absolutely incredible. And, and then you get guys who are like Tosh and Tom Boyd who stick up for the club and stick up for the fans. Never got a gig anywhere.
Yeah. But the thing is,
proper Celtic legends.
Who's going to listen to a failed manager like Chris Sutton? At the end of the day.
Well, aye.
Like all of a sudden your opinion of football matters because you didn't do so well? Fuck off. Get out of my face.
But let's face it, there's the half-wits in this country that still buy that Daily Record and that fucking Sun. And they buy that shit and believe it. These are the half-wits that fill these bloody Radio Clyde phone-ins and stuff like that. It's like there is still a big proportion of Celtic supporters buy into that pish, whether we want to believe it or not. Mm-hmm. So these are melting folks' heads. And the constant negativity, it's only bad for Scottish football. Letting these parasites on these jobs that constantly talking the game down, people start to believe that shit. And that's what your Barry Hearn was talking about when he was up in Scotland. these are the guys he's talking about. It's these guys, positions of power, these guys that have got the ear, the dullards, that are actually fucking selling our game down the river and people are paying for the privilege yet.
Yeah, but Paul mentioned on Saturday as well, you said it quite clearly, Paul, Scottish football's fucked.
Mm-hmm.
It's done.
Oh, it is. Look, here's the scenario, right? Apart from the fact, and this is what I said to that prick Jackson and all, is like David Murray destroyed Scottish football for 20 years and the press done absolutely jack shit about it. What's happened now is we've got a situation where Sevco are on the brink of going out the game completely. £8 million needed just to survive to the end of the season. Where the hell are they going to get that for, right? So discussions have already taken place at Celtic about what if they actually can't even fulfil the semi-final fixture, where do we go for here and all that kind of thing. And yet, on the flip side of that, you've got guys like Dave King and Paul Murray who are sitting there waiting for that club to go bust so they can form a new co. Now, whatever happens with that new co means it's going to have to start again. And now if that new co starts again, then what happens there is, the fucking rest of the Scottish football isn't going to be sustainable because all these clubs are fucking struggling right now as it is. Added to the fact that the new co will only be sustainable because even your fucking diehard Huns have got to be like, geezer, break you, you know what I mean? How much more do we keep doing to do this?
Yeah.
And this is all caused by the destruction that Murray fucking put on Scottish football, where he financially doped the league. Celtic had to get their act together and fucking compete with it and then eventually overtaking it. And the rest of the clubs had to pay way beyond their means to even remotely get close to Celtic and Rangers. And most of them have been suffering ever since. Aberdeen and Hibs are in astronomical amounts of debt. I know Aberdeen are getting close to clearing it now because they played by the rules. You know what I mean? And they've got guarantors here who have got plenty dough and all that kind of thing. Other clubs like Hearts had to cheat and almost went bust. Dundee fucking went into administration about 3 times. And that was all caused by David Murray financially inflating this league beyond a proportion that was unsustainable. And yet not one person in the media will ever say that to them. And so now you have a point where, as you say, we can all sit here and say we love Celtic and all that kind of thing, but as Jason said, look at the crowd at the Partick game. We can only fill half the ground for Europa games. A lot of guys have just walked away for the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And as Jason says, the positive message we heard. I don't know about you, but to me, the main thing that Barry Hemp was saying, you need to get rid of fucking Doncaster and Reagan.
Yeah.
And they're sitting there going, well, unbelievable.
See the picture, see the segment of the film, Paul, when Reagan is shown, and you have your man fucking Jabba the Dickhead standing next to him.
Yeah.
That blew my mind because I didn't know that.
Joe, I thought we weren't doing any spoilers for the film for folk that hadn't seen it.
I didn't. That's not a spoiler.
Right, okay. Right.
I don't think it's a spoiler, but I'm saying, but like that's one thing I did not know, and I was like, oh my god, this thing is still ongoing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Listen, we would not be in this fucking perilous state in Scottish football if it wasn't for the fact that since fucking Rangers went bust, the whole game has been geared towards getting a, in brackets, Rangers in the top flight of Scottish football. Yeah. At the same time as the vultures and the spivs and the con men are gutting the fucking body of the Nuco.
Yeah,
so it's working against each other. But there's no synergy there. It's the complete opposite.
Well, they're trying in vain to resuscitate the status quo.
And
it's fucking, it's not going to work.
Because... again, not to keep going on about the film, but one of the main messages of the film is here's all the advantages that they had and we still won. They've not got any of that now.
No.
And so why on earth does anybody think they'll ever fucking compete with us again? Bear in mind that they weren't competing with us before Murray came in either. So there's no kind of fucking precedent for them competing with us unless they're fucking cheating. And this is why people like Ogilvie and Reagan are still at the top of their game. Because they'll help them cheat.
Baffling, isn't it? It's baffling. But then again, it's baffling because we're people led by morals and ethics. We're not led by greed and we're not led by power.
Yeah.
It baffles us. It doesn't baffle them. To them, it's the norm. And
well, exactly. It's the way it's always been run, and it's the way it'll continue to be run. And Celtic supporters are responsible for most of the money in Scottish football. We're basically responsible for as much money as the rest of the other 39 clubs combined, and yet we get treated the worst.
Yeah. See, touching on the stuff that Barry Hearn was going on about, Is that not the stuff we've been ranting on about this show for about the past 3 years?
Well, but just elaborate there, just because like obviously we've mentioned Barry Hearn, but I mean elaborate what it is that he said for anybody that doesn't know.
Well,